And welcome back everybody, welcome to the Life of a Board Gamer. My name is Daniel and we are here to finish this alphabet list where I am picking each letter of the alphabet, the English one, and naming the game that starts with that letter that I really like. So I decided to make it a trilogy because I don't want videos to be too long, and everything that is good comes in trilogies. We have Lord of the Rings, we have the Star Wars, with Star Wars, not those crappy ones that were just in theaters recently, or the first trilogy, the original trilogy, and some other trilogies. Just take any three Marvel movies and make a trilogy of them. So yeah, thank you all for coming back. Let's start with this list and let's finish it. And we are kicking things off with the letter R. R, matey. Sadly, it's not a pirate game. It is a space game. It is called Roll for the Galaxy. Roll for the Galaxy is a phenomenal. It's not a city building game, it's a planet building game, because those are the planets and technologies, and I don't know how you ever want to call it, but it is similar to Era. You are rolling dice behind your screen, and then you will decide which parts you want to activate. Do you want to settle planets? Do you want to send goods with the ships? Or do you want to explore new technologies? Whatever you decide, you will activate secretly. Other players will do so. So it will usually happen that some people overlap. So you will activate few of them. Few of the players will activate the same thing. So there will be maybe not just 2 things activated from 5 possible, or 6, depending if you have some expansions, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, you are trying to figure out what will other players activate, and you are trying to work off that, because I can see that this player over there wants to do a settle action. So I will put my cubes under the settle that rolled the settle symbol on them, but actually I want to do and activate something else. So I will get my activation, I will get his activation. It is wonderful game. It is super quick. It goes like and you are done. It is so quick, and it is great. It has lots of custom dice, and I'm a sucker for custom dice. I see custom dice, I'm completely sold on it. So yeah, Roll for the Galaxy is phenomenal. Next game, you can see a box behind me. Sight. Now I keep this box here on the wall because I have everything in that big box. And yeah, Sight is a game that when I first played it, I expected it, of course, as many of you probably did, to be a like huge war game in 1920s, mechs fighting around, killing each other. And then you find out that war is very optional, that you completely don't need it to win the game. You can completely farm the land and be victorious. And I was not disappointed. I figured that would disappoint me if somebody would told me like, oh, that's not a war game, and I would probably skip it completely. But I decided to play it, and I was really blown by it. It is just a phenomenal game. When the expansion showed up, that introduced 2 more factions, and now you can play a 7-player game. And we did that, more than a few times, because I want to play that almost exclusively. I want to play it with 7 players. I don't know why, but everything, when you are playing 7 players, everything is so tight, everything is so there on the point, and so everything is so near to each other. It is just a constant tension of, will they attack you, will they steal resources from you. It's just, I enjoy every second of it. Watching other players playing, I just enjoy. Sight is phenomenal game, even with 7 players. Is of course reserved for what else than Terraforming Mars. Terraforming Mars is I don't know. Again, when I saw the artwork on those cards, I don't like that artwork where they take pictures and just stick them on the cards. That living thing artwork, not sure how it's called. Stills. I don't like stills from the movies, series, or wherever they get them. I don't like that type of artwork on cards. And the Terraforming Mars has a variety of different cards. Some of them are hand drawn, some of them are computer generated. It is just weird, but somehow everything works really nicely. All the artwork and everything just sits well. I don't know how, but it does. So yeah, I just enjoy Terraforming Mars. I could play it all day long, every day, every night. I could play 5 games in a row of Terraforming Mars easily. With all the great expansions, especially the colonies. It is cool expansion, but that one, wait, I have a box somewhere over here. Prelude. Prelude is a phenomenal expansion. This is like the best expansion. What Terraforming Mars really needed from the start was Prelude. All the other expansions you can take or not, you will not miss that much on them. And yeah, the last one did brought some length to the gameplay, which I kind of didn't like, but I don't still think it's a bit. In essence, Terraforming Mars is a phenomenal game that I would play with all the expansions, and we usually do. We play with all expansions and everything incorporated, and we just have a blast playing it because it's such an awesome game, Terraforming Mars. Next game is game that people usually try to match with Terraforming Mars, and they think that they are alike, and I completely am blown. My mind is blown. Why? Because those games have nothing similar, nothing in common. The game is Underwater Cities, and Underwater Cities is a phenomenal game, but it has nothing to do with Terraforming Mars. They're completely different game, and yet lots of times I see people asking, should I buy Terraforming Mars or should I buy Underwater Cities? Both, because they are both great games and they are completely different. In Underwater Cities, you are building underwater cities. You are building these domes, and the game, when you are done with it, it looks really nice. It has this little 3D component to it. And the way you are playing cards, when you go, you will pick one of the spots that you want to play, and you need to play the card with that spot, any card. And if the card matches the color of the space that you are playing, you can activate all kinds of different abilities. And that is what that is like the puzzle that you are trying to figure out. Okay, so I first need to go to yellow to activate this, and then it will give me resources so I can do the green one. And sometimes you have to sacrifice those actions, but it's really rarely. I think it happens once, maybe twice in a game, maybe, but usually don't, because you are always looking to be as efficient as possible. Otherwise, you will lose the game. So yeah, Underwater Cities, definitely check that one out. Even the last expansion, not the last, the expansion that came last year was just completely phenomenal. It brought so much great stuff that definitely, if you have Underwater Cities, you want to have the expansion for them, for it, not them, it. And we are very near the end of this list. We are at the letter V, and it's called, the game for the letter V is Villages of Valeria. It is part of these Valeria games now. All of them, I know you are probably now confused because there are Quest of Valeria, there's Valeria Card Kingdoms, some other Valeria game that is coming up soon, I think. But Villages of Valeria is the second Valeria game I played. But I had so much fun with it. It was so interesting to play that game because the interaction between players, because you can give coins to other players to activate some parts of their cities in your advantage to get some resources or something, but then you forfeit that coin forever to them. And coins can be very valuable at the end of the game. They can even win you the game. So you are constantly looking to put cards that will attract other people to put coins on there, but you really don't want them to put coins because you want to put coins on those cards and you want those resources because you need them to build your kingdom, and finding the balance between those is just phenomenal. There's also great expansion for it that came out recently that gives you some extra stuff that you can do, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, Villages of Valeria is a fun game. W is reserved for a game that is out of the print. It is a little bit hard to find, so sorry if you cannot find it anywhere and you think you would like it. I just absolutely adore it. It is called Walled City, Londonderry, and wait, I need to check it out. Londonderry and Borderlands. Basically, we are just going to call it Walled City. Walled City is, it has really interesting mechanic, and where you will take there is like a city that has no walls or roads in it, and you need to build those roads and walls and protect it from attacks and whatnot. It's played in 2 rounds. In first round, you will put some road on specific spaces wherever you want, and then you will play the card with numbers, and numbers will show you, will tell you how many you will put on one side and how many you will put on other side of your people or some of the more established people, because they're like villagers and they're like some, I'm not really sure how they are called, but you will decide which you want to put on which side, and that way with the roads you will form like little separate spaces, and you will try to vie for power in those spaces. You will try to have the most in that spaces so you can get points for them, and there's some dice included that can be really manipulated with really nicely. And in the second part you will build walls, and you will do also those kinds of things there where you want to put some stuff inside, some stuff outside, and you don't want some of these, I don't know, I'm going too far in the details explaining how the game works, but game is just phenomenal. Because once you play this card, you have a card like with 2 numbers. Usually it is just 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 5, 0, 4, 0, 6. I know I said 5, 4, then 6. I know how to count. I just mistakenly. So, and there's also cards then that will say 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. And once you play them, you cannot play it anymore until the end of the game. That card is not available for you, so you really need to figure out when you want to play those big cards that give you 6/6 or stuff like that. You really want to think about how you want to play your cards, because once you play them they are gone for the game. And there are some optional things, not optional, but there are some cards that you will draft that will give you some special powers through the first part of the game and the second part of the game. It's just phenomenal game. It just works wonders. So if you can get hands on this one, even just to try it out, definitely try it out. Walled City, London, Derry, however it is called, and Borderlands. I almost called said Wastelands for some reason. London, Derry, and Borderlands. Walled City. Awesome game. Sadly out of print. X is for Xayah, Legends of a Drift System. There's an expansion box right here. So Xayah is a sandbox game. That's a game where you can you are basically have your spaceship and you are traveling around these space sectors, and you are either delivering goods, attacking other players, or doing different missions, bounty hunting. You can basically do whatever you want in this game, and I absolutely adore it. I don't play that much because it's a big game. It's a lot of setup, a lot of everything to explain to people, and sometimes it's really hard to get it to the table. But when it hits the table, when it hits the table, I have so much fun with it that I don't know where to begin. There are a ton of different ships in a game, so you can progress throughout the game. You can buy ships in level 2 and level 3. To have a level 3 ship, you will need to play the game a lot. I mean, for extended period of time, because you can set out how many victory points you want to play. If you want to play up to 10 victory points, you will just probably get to level 2 ships. In some lucky coincidence things, you might be able to buy a level 3 ship. But yeah, the game has a little bit more than welcomed random in it, because there are dice used for move, for shooting, for attacking, for everything. But I don't know, I just like how everything works. I think it's a great sandbox game where you can choose to do whatever you want to do. You can just fly around the space and do nothing if you want to do so. It will not bring you much points, probably none, but if that's what you want to do, you can do that and just run away from people that are trying to steal your goods or something. So that's my X pick, Xayah Legends of a Drift System. Why? Just because. Why? That was the lame joke. Why is reserved for one of the games, Yokohama. Yokohama is the game in question. Now, this game I was completely unaware of. I did not know nothing about it, and even when I saw it, I kind of think, okay, it looks kind of cool, but nothing special, nothing much. And there was a giveaway on a Board Game Geek, and you could win one of these games from TMG. and the game in question was the deluxe version of the game. There is also a regular version, but the deluxe version looks way better. I mean, nothing wrong with the base game. With the normal version, you can still have great experience, but these 3D houses, components and everything just give you a really nice feel of the game. And yeah, so I decided to enter that competition because the game looked kind of okay. Even if I don't like it, I can sell it, you know. And it turns out that I won. I don't know how, but by that point I never won anything on BGG and I thought it was completely rigged. I don't know what I was thinking. And yeah, then I won it. I was blown by that fact, and once I get it, I read the rules, I tried the game, and it is not leaving my collection ever. I mean, not ever. If I need like urgent money for urgent thing, I would probably sell it if that was the only option. But otherwise, I am not giving it to anybody. That game is just a blast to play. It is very similar to Istanbul. It has a little bit of differences. The things that you do and what you do in the game are a little bit different, but in essence you have these little workers, helpers, and you have one big guy and you are going around using those small workers to help you out do different tasks like in an Istanbul. And yeah, it is just wonderful game. Top 10 material if you ask me. Yokohama, check that one out. And the last one, but not because it's bad, but because it starts with letter Z, and no, it does not have zombies in it, if you might think of that. It is called Zendo. Zendo, I am not that much fan of an abstract games, but Zendo is just phenomenal. You get all kinds of different pyramid shapes, square shapes that are kind of see-through glass things. I have this second edition. I'm talking about second edition of the game. And then you will get the card and you will pick two options, like for example, two pieces need to be leaning one against another, touching each other. Or for example, you need to have 5 pieces exactly on the board. And then you will take those pieces, you will build one that is obeying the rules of the card and one construction that is not obeying the rules of the card, and other people need to figure out what are the rules. They have genuine idea what rules might be, but they need to figure out from whatever you build it what's the rule, and you can really trick them. You can separate some buildings or put them together so they might think that everything needs to be put together, but it completely doesn't need to be together. And once they build the construction that obeys the laws of the card, you tell them, yep, that is correct, but still they need to guess what was on the card. It is just phenomenal abstract game. I don't know, I just love that game. So check that out if you are into some abstract, super brain burning games. Zendo is the game for you. And that concludes our alphabet list. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making this one. I could have like a ton of honorable mentions, not options, honorable mentions. I would gladly put Terra Mystica on the list, but Terraforming Mars I just play more, love more. But Terra Mystica is awesome game. Rajas of Ganges is a great game, but sadly the R was what? Roll for the Galaxy. I just adore Roll for the Galaxy. Champions of Midgard is great game. What else I have? I'm just scanning them over there. Quantum is there, great game. Council of Blackthorn, Elysium is by far one of the best game ever. Scorpius Freighter, Aristea is beautiful 2-player games with miniatures battling each other, but Anachron lives in my heart, and it is how it is. So yeah, there's lots of tons of honorable options. Anything from Last Night on Earth, zombie game. I just adore that game. So yeah, that's the list. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, that is that. I have nothing much to say. Check out my channel, check out the other videos I do. I also have a Patreon, support my channel that way. We are doing constant giveaways on this channel. Each month I'm giving away something, whatever I find. Sometimes it's smaller, sometimes it's something bigger. Whatever I can find, get my hands on. And yeah, that is that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for spending time with me. I really couldn't ask for more. I really like spending time with you. And until next time, pozdrav. Though it was just a few seconds after I just filmed the last But all of the great things come in three. Lord of the Rings. T is of course for some strange reason, but